Hello. I am going to attempt to do a very quick flower rotating thing using CSS animation and creating a new folder, checking it in, all that good stuff. So doesn't really matter what Illustrator file size you use because it's a scalable vector graphic, but I'll just choose web. And RGB is fine. 72 ppi is what you want. Yeah, and then hit create. And I'm going to make a flower. This is my quick and dirty flower. So I'm going to click the ellipse tool. I'm going to make a shape. I'm going to click on shift to keep it, symmetrical. And then I'm going to say object, path, average. I'm going to do both axes, and then here's my flower. Hooray! Let's give it a color. I'll make it, what color should we use? Red? What color do we want? I want like a pretty blue flower. Oh, I can't make up my mind. See, I'm already off track. Okay, blue, fill, no stroke. And now I want to do a stamen. So I'm going to click the center, move out. I ruined it. Okay, click. Okay, there's my stamen. I'm going to make it. Oh, that's the line. I don't want the line to be anything. I want the fill to be something cheery. Okay, here's my flower. Hooray, I've done it. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to say File, Export Selection. There's my asset. I could probably rename it here if I was smart. I never do that part. I want to make sure my SVG settings are correct. So I clicked on the little thingamabobber. The gear, I'm clicking on SVG. So internal CSS will give us a nice little CSS chunk at the top. And all the rest are good. Layer names, responsive, all is good. Save settings. Make sure that SVG is selected. Figure out where it's going to. So it's going in my animation folder on desktop. Export. And let's go make sure that that is there. New folder, desktop, animation. Hooray, there's my flower. Okay, so I want the code. So I'm going to start a new folder. So let's close all these guys. Close this file. Right, here is my username folder. I'm just going to put it in here because then I don't have to, because I'm just practicing, I don't really need a new repository. So I'm going to say a new folder, and I'm going to call it flower. And inside this folder, so if I click on it to highlight it, I want a new file called index.html. I want also in this folder a new file called style.css. And then in my index, I want to use Emmet to give me my HTML boilerplate. So I do exclamation point and then tab. And then I'm going to call it spinning flower. Okay, so I want to go get the SVG code. Sometimes I like to just put the file in with the folder. Can I do this? Yay, I can. Okay, cool. So here's the file. So I can just click on it to see the code. Command A to select everything. Command C to copy it. And then index, I'm going to paste it in. So I make sure that it's inside the body. And then now I want to get rid of the style. So I'm going to select the two styles that are here, copy them. And then I'm just going to get rid of definitions and style, this whole thing. I don't need it. And if I leave it in here, it's gonna, if I change anything about those styles, it's gonna ignore me and make me very angry. Okay, so I'm gonna save that. And I haven't linked my style sheet yet. So if I was to look at this, I think it would probably have no style at all. Let's see, open. Oh yeah, it's in here. Flower index. So yeah, see, it just goes back to black. So I need to make sure that I link my CSS file. So I'm going to do it somewhere in the head, somewhere between these two guys. I'm going to say link and then tab. And then it's in the same folder as index. So I just have to say style.css. And now if I refresh, I should have a blue and green flower. Hooray! Now that's way too big. So I want to put it around, like I want to put it in a box. So I'm going to say div. And I'm just going to give it a class because I'm here. Class equals thing dash flower. If I had a space between these two, that would be two different classes. So you need to make sure there's no spaces. Then this closing div, I need to cut Command X and scroll down to the bottom. And below the closing SVG, I want to paste that in. Okay, so now I have an SVG. It has a path and it has a circle. This one's pretty easy to figure out, right? So CLS1 is the flower. So let's rename it. I'm just going to say flower, CLS1, and the circle is CLS2. I'm going to call it stamen. Stamen? And let's change that in style because I've just broken it. So if I refresh, I'm back to black. So I need to go to style. CLS1 is flower. CLS2 is stamen. Now I save it. I refresh. I'm back to pretty colors. Okay, so what did I call? Spinning flower is what I called the div. So in style, let's close this SVG. I'm going to give this dot spinning flower class a width of 400 pixels. Seems reasonable. Refresh, and now I have this flower. Just for fun, let's center it. So this whole div, I can center it by saying margin auto, and that will automatically kind of put it in the middle of the page. So it figures out an even amount of margin on left and right. All right, so we have this flower petals. Let's make this spin. So we want to do rotate. So let's do W3 CSS animation rotate. And here's the rotation property. Rotation point. So that is like where we want it to like rotate from. And then this is an H1 though. Let's see. Let's try it. CSS rotation property. It's crazy, but it just might work. Well, this isn't really going to like do animation rotate. Let's back up. That's not CSS animation. CSS animations. Okay, so this must be just like static rotating things. So if you wanted to rotate text or an image, you could probably use that. Let's do animations. So this is what we want. We want to rotate things. Animation. Let's look at this. Is this a try it? No, this is just like a. I'm going to do a Command F and try to jump to rotate. Oh, well, there you go. It's not there. So let's scroll on the right-hand side, see if there's anything. Okay, CSS animations. Object foot position. Oh, I guess we're using a CSS thing to rotate stuff. So I'm trying to be a good Googler, but the thing that you want to Google for is W3 transform rotate. I was hoping that I didn't have to use that word transform, but apparently I do. So here's the transform property. So let's see, there's a try it. So that's rotating 20 degrees. That's skewing, which is cool. And that's scaling on the y-axis. So we'll just grab this -ms. This is like for browsers that maybe have done something different. you don't really need to worry about it for this class. Most browsers have caught up to stuff anyway. So I'm just going to grab transform rotate and see if that works for how I want. So spinning flower, I'll just see what this looks like. Let's close this guy, refresh. Okay, so that's working as a rotate. So let's start our animation. So I want to say, I want to give it a name, animation-name. Spin, I'll just call it spin me. I want an animation duration. So I want to know how long to do this for. Like how long a full spin is going to take. So I'm going to say 2 seconds. Adjust it later. And then animation fill mode. So these are basically the 3 that you always want to start with. Forwards means that it won't just jump back to the start. It'll stop where it finishes. Stop at the end of the animation instead of jumping to the front to the beginning. Okay, so those are the 3. And then so I'm going to say at keyframes. So I'm going to make a keyframe animation for this, and it's called I've called it up there spin me. So this is a reference. So when this CSS loads, it's going to see that it should be using a keyframes animation called spin me. And spin me is going to start at some rotation, and it's going to end at some rotation. And I'll probably just have it spin round and round. So I want to start at 0 degrees. So it has a default value, and that's going to be the same for my 0. And then at 100%, I think I want 359 degrees. Maybe we can't even tell the difference of 1 degree. When I saved it, Visual Studio Code made it all pretty. So let's see what we have. Let's see. So in 2 seconds, it should go from 0 degrees rotation to 359 degrees. And I haven't done the infinite thing, so it should only spin once for 2 seconds. So I'm going to do Command R, and that is 2 seconds. So I could also do animation iteration count of infinite, and then it should go forever. So see how it slows up and like it goes slow and fast. This is the easing. So if we look for W3 animation easing, there's different timing functions. So you can have linear, which would be just the same all the way through. You can have a kind of ease in. So it'll be slow at first and then speed up. So here you go. Slow start, slow end, slow start and slow end. And then there's like other stuff. I've literally only ever just kind of used the easing stuff. You can actually make your own Bezier, like cubic Bezier. There's generators too that will help you to like come up with like a fast, slow, fast, slow, whatever thing. Okay, so we want to do linear because I don't want all this crazy stopping, starting stuff. So I'm going to just animation timing function. I'm going to grab this, copy. We're going to add that to our animation. So we've got a lot of stuff going on here. Save. And then here's my flower. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. See how it kind of is lopsided, just like a tiny bit? I think that is the, what do you call it? The transform origin? Transform origin? That's very weird. I must have not gotten the stamen thing right in the middle. I kind of like it, but if you need to change it, it's transform origin. Let's just try it out. Transform origin. And then like I think you can just do center. So it's center on the y-axis and center on the x-axis. This whole thing might be skewed, so I might have to just, redo it. It's like two, like things are just slightly off. Okay, anyway, let's like scale, like let's make the stamen bigger and smaller. So let's make a scale thing. So spinning flower, it's spinning the whole thing. Oh, let's change it so it only spins the flower and not the stamen. So all I have to do that is to say, don't spin the whole div. Just find the div of spinning flower and make the flower spin. So that should make the stamen stay put and not have this wiggle. Whoa, what did I just do? Oh yeah. the div needs to have this. So let's do this. Let's copy this. Spinning flower needs to have this stuff. And then I think the rest is fine. Yes. Okay, let's try that. Refresh. Okay. Ooh, this is what I was, some of you had left already, but something that I pointed out to Farah. So when you make an SVG, it has what's called this like viewport box. It's this view box. So the view box is kind of like the initial box shape that the illustration lives in. Don't bother trying to change this value. So this starts at like, it's basically, it made a box that's 0 by 202. It's not even, it's like a super weird value. Ignore that. What you can do instead is for this SVG, and actually let's do it for all SVGs, is make a SVG class, or SVG style. And the default for overflow is on SVGs is hidden, and we want it to be visible. So if we click that, then it won't get cropped anymore. And there you go. Ta-da! Okay, now let's work on the stamen. And then I'm gonna stop babbling. Okay, so let's make a new stamen. And because I've said spinning flower, I might as well be more specific. So this is just like in case you had multiple flowers with different names, like spinning red flower, spinning blue flower, you could be more specific. Okay, so the stamen, we're going to give it an animation name of bigger, I don't know, I just come up with weird names. Animation duration 4 seconds. We could just pulse, like, let's make a really weird pulsing. Let's do like a 400 milliseconds. So like a little faster than half a second. Animation iteration count. We want it to be infinite. So you can see it doesn't matter what order I put these in. It's just kind of what is coming to mind. Animation fill mode, which honestly might not matter in this instance, but just out of habit, I'll just say that. Okay, name, duration, fill mode, and then let's do animation delay. So we don't want it to start doing this immediately. Let's wait like 3 seconds before we start pulsing this stamen. Okay, save. Now, bigger is the name of my keyframe animation that I'm going to create. So I'm going to say at keyframes bigger, and I'm going to say at 0% be something. Let's do like a middle, 50% do something else, and at 100% do something else. So I'm going to do a transform scale, and I want it to be X and Y. So I'm just going to do the first one, scale, just scale. And I'm going to start it at 1, so regular size. And then I'm going to change it to 1.5, so 1.5 times its size. And then I'm going to stop it at like 0.7. Ooh, when I saved it, it made it all pretty. Okay. Bigger, Stamen. Okay. Refresh. It's going to wait 3 seconds and then, whoa. So this is interesting. It's scaling it and the origin is not in the center. So it's like doing crazy things. So let's try to get the transform origin to work. This one can be kind of a pain, but let's try to fix it. So flower, I could put them either place. I'm going to put it in here because for my transforms are happening. Refresh. Okay. Okay, much better. So I did center. That is so weird. But there you go. And then, see how it's kind of going up over the page. I could just give it a margin top to make the whole thing. So spinning flower have a little more room. Oh, that's not 300 pixels. There we go. Oh, moving. That's too much, but you get the idea. And like I could even, now that I have this keyframe animation, I could like add it. So right now spinning flower has spin me. I wonder if I can put it in the same line. Spin me and bigger. Let's try it. Oh, weird. I broke it. Okay, so I guess you can't do. I thought you could do multiple animations. I guess you just have to combine all your animation stuff in the same keyframe. Yeah, it'll only take one. Interesting. Okay. Oh, that was for the whole div. But so what I could do is if I wanted something to scale and also do something else, I could add them together. So for spin me, I could add scale. So transform, they have to be separated by spaces. And then 1.5. This is going to be crazy looking. So it's growing and then it's kind of weird, but you get the general gist. Okay. I'm going to check this in. So here is I'm going to go back to my repository. So here's my repository. I wanted to just point this out because this is something Alex found, was that you can have 2 different views. So when you click on current repository, it'll show you all your different repositories. And then if you click on it again, it goes back to changes in history. So this is telling me that I have created a folder. This was from before, but here's the folder I created during this video. And so I can say added flower demo to my summary, click on commit to master, click on push origin. And now let's think about the folder. So it is in desktop DES341. It's in this folder and it's directly in a folder called flower. So if I go to this URL, monareese.github.io. So here's my homepage. This is as far as I've gotten. /, if I type in flower, as long as that page that I'm working on is index.html, I should get to the flower page. So here it is. So that's kind of how you figure out your URLs. And this is true if your folder is inside your username folder or if it's in a different repository. So if I go back here, so my server name is alanareese.github.io. And I have also created this folder, MLK Speech CSS. So if I go to my homepage here, my other repository, if I paste the name of that folder in here and I hit enter, that will be the URL for that. So that's kind of how things work if it's a repository or if it's a folder inside your home directory. That's kind of how you find the URLs. You can also just find them in GitHub if it's a new repository. But kind of think of your home page as like your server, and then you have folders inside your server, but you can also point to projects. So in this case, this is like a different project, right? So you can point to folders inside your folder or projects that are separate repositories. Oh my God. I'm sorry about your brains. I know this is a lot. Thank you for hanging in there. And let's have some fun in the next couple weeks making animations. I think it'll be fun to like start with this instead of messing with trying to get layouts. Okay, cool. Thank you. Bye.